It all depends on Kyrie Irving. If I keep Kyrie Irving, sign him, on July 1st as a free agent, then yes, I'll trade whatever I have to. Now, I'm not putting Jayson Tatum in initially, but ultimately it could come to that. And yes, I would give him up if I keep Kyrie. Now, if Kyrie walks, goes to the New York Knicks or wherever else, I'm not giving up Jayson Tatum. I'll give up a lot. Jaylen Brown, maybe the Memphis pick, some other players. But I would not give up Jayson Tatum for what could likely be a one-year rental with Anthony Davis. So, look, even without Kyrie, they're a really good team. I don't think they're a championship team without him, but they're a really good team. And Tatum may blossom into that superstar you need to have a chance to win a championship. So, you can keep Tatum. You don't know you could keep Anthony Davis unless Kyrie's there. So that's my answer.
Well, I don't think you have to decide at this moment. I mean, obviously they have some recruiting to do with Kyrie Irving, right? Kyrie was all in, then he wasn't all in, and then we don't really know. They got some recruiting to do, but the best recruiting is winning. So go out and win, and let's see. I think, remember, not only is Jayson Tatum a super talent, but he's also under club control on a rookie deal for 2 more years. So, and his next deal will pale in comparison to what they would have to pay financially to pay Anthony Davis. So he allows more flexibility. I'm prone to say, stay with the young base of talent. You don't need to bite the apple and, change your roster again. Remember, 2 years
ago. That's if you don't have Kyrie.
That's if you have Kyrie Irving. I'm not convinced.
So you're saying regardless, Kyrie, don't put Tatum.
Look, you don't have to decide now. I still think you don't know exactly what you have in terms of the ceiling with Jayson Tatum right now.
True.
Right? Like, I know everyone wants to think he's a superstar and Jaylen Brown and Scary Terry, but look, let's see how it looks in the playoffs this year when you have Kyrie, when you have Gordon Hayward. Because you're going to look, if they give him Jayson Tatum, they're probably going to give him Gordon Hayward too. Like, hey, you got to take this stinker of a contract right now. I don't know. We always make this like, do you want Anthony Davis? Like, hell yeah, I want Anthony Davis. Would you do it for Jayson Tatum? Like, yeah, but you're going to have to take Gordon Hayward's contract if Gordon Hayward doesn't massively improve by the end of the year. So there's a bunch of ifs there. I'm just not convinced that you're not on an upward trajectory. Remember, you go back and was it 2 seasons ago? They had like 14 new guys on this roster after making a run. Like, at some point, continuity wins more than talent wins. And they've had so little continuity because Kyrie's never healthy, because Gordon Hayward wasn't healthy all of last year, because they've still had so many moving pieces on their bench. We still don't know what they top out at when they're healthy, when they get their chemistry right. And these last 25 games plus playoffs, I think, will give you a better sense of what is the ceiling, not just of the Celtics team, but of Jayson Tatum playing alongside Kyrie.
Well, look, as a rookie last year, he averaged 18 in the playoffs. That's pretty darn good. And I could argue this. Now, granted, it's the Eastern Conference, and I think he's got a much better coach in Brad Stevens. So he's benefited Jayson Tatum a lot from having Brad Stevens as his coach. But you can make an argument Jayson Tatum has shown more winning chops, and that if he does develop into this superstar, maybe he's not quite as good as Anthony Davis, but he's close. He's on that level, so to speak, maybe a top 10 or 15 player in the league. He looks like a definite winner. Now, I'm not saying AD's not a winner, but he hasn't shown that. Because part of it is, look, if you're a top 5 player in the league, a consensus top 5 player, why haven't you won it all? Why is your team 3rd worst in the West? They won last year. They got to the 2nd round. It looked like he was finally leading a team to some playoff success. But for the most part, he hasn't been able to win.
Yeah, I mean, 1 year, Drew was hurt, and they ran.
Well, they've had injuries a lot.
And they played the Warriors. Right? Then, it wasn't until they lost to DeMarcus Cousins that they finally got better last year when he played center. And remember, the Celtics, you lose Al Horford, Anthony Davis becomes your center. He helps you more at the defensive end than Jayson Tatum does because he can guard really 1 through 5.
He's a better player.
But
is he a number 1? Like, he's got number 1 ability.
If he wasn't the size that he is.
He doesn't have to be a number 1 if you have Kyrie Irving. He doesn't have to be a number 1 if he has Kyrie Irving.
But we're talking about Kyrie might not be there.
Right, if Kyrie's not there, they're not going after Anthony Davis because they... No, but you got to build around.
They're going after Anthony Davis.
Yes,
because the one thing Danny Ainge knows is that you need a superstar to win a championship. Now, maybe he thinks Tatum will develop into that, but he knows that's why he's willing to break up the team to get Anthony Davis. That's why he didn't trade Kyrie before the deadline, even though there's all this talk about maybe Kyrie won't stay, because he knows in Boston it's about banners, and no matter how good these role players are with Brad Stevens, you're not winning a championship without a superstar.
No question about it. And look, I think end of the day, Kyrie stays. I think Kemba is the guy more likely to go to New York than Kyrie is to go to New York, because Kemba Walker starting for the Knicks in Madison Square Garden just feels a lot better.
That changes everything. As good as Kemba is.
Oh, my God. I mean,
is Kevin Durant going there? Is Anthony Davis want to go there just because of Kemba? And I like Kemba. He's really good, but not Kyrie.
How much pressure is there on the Celtics to win throughout the rest of the season? But this, given what they did in the postseason last year and all the moving pieces that could take place during free agency with Kyrie Irving to win the East, to get the finals this playoffs.
Look, I think from the media and I think from fans, there'll be a lot. I think that, look, their plan was for this year to be a year in which they would go for it, right? That was, if you remember when Gordon Hayward signed and when they traded for Kyrie Irving, it was about timeline. Like, this was kind of in the timeline, the window of when they thought this year, next year, they could go and get it done. Now, that timeline obviously has been changed with Gordon Hayward's injury and the fact that he hasn't been the same player, and the fact that Kyrie Irving, they didn't expect him to constantly be having these nagging injuries in the knee thing last year. But, yeah, I think it's reasonable expectations from fans. I think from the Celtics, they just want to get in, be healthy, and get their chemistry right at the right moment. I think that's because the East is a far bigger challenge this year than it has been previously. Right. Toronto is legit better than they were last year. They added, we talked about, I think there's like 12 guys that are top 5 players in the league. I don't know how our math works. But Kawhi Leonard is like the third best player in the NBA. You add third best player in the NBA to an already good team. Right. And then Philadelphia's gone for it. And Milwaukee's going for it. Like, you got 4 really good teams. So I think our expectations probably exceed that of the reality, considering Hayward is a shell of himself and Kyrie's been hurt. And their chemistry is not what we thought it would be. We thought you sprinkle in some Brad Stevens magic dust and all of a sudden they'd be the best team on earth, and it hasn't happened yet.
I think it would certainly help them keep Kyrie if they get to the finals.
Oh, yeah.
He wants to win. I think that'd be great. And I think part of the problem there, maybe in his mind and in the younger players' minds, is this thought that we got to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, 1 game from the finals, without you. So the young players may think they're better than they really are without Kyrie.
No question.
And for him, if they go out in the second round, which is very possible, they go out in the second round with Kyrie, it's just going to exacerbate that problem that's already there.
Isn't it interesting? It's kind of similar to what's happened with the Warriors, right? With the Warriors and the famous line from Draymond Green, we won before you got here. Hey, dude, you should have lost Oklahoma City before I got here. Hey, dude, you won 73 but didn't win the NBA championship before I got there. But guys feeling themselves when they felt like they won before the star ended up getting there.
You don't always remember the whole journey.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.